In 1987, representatives from 24 countries met in Montreal and announced to the world that it was time to stop destroying the ozone layer. In so doing, these countries committed themselves through the Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer to rid the world of substances that threaten the ozone layer. On December 19, 1994, the UN General Assembly proclaimed September 16 to be the International Day for the Preservation of the Ozone Layer. The day was first celebrated on September 16, 1995. And so on this International Ozone Layer Day, we encourage you to do all that you can to help keep the Earth safe for all living organisms. This is Jamaica Magazine, and I'm Theodore Henry. More information relating to the ozone layer and the other matters between the pages. But first, the news, so please stick with us.
That can easily change if we allow the cutting of trees, forest fires, animal grazing, crop cultivation, or improper dwellings to destroy our forest reserves. Help preserve Jamaica's flora and fauna. If you know or suspect that someone is hurting our forest reserves, call 1-888-FORESTS. Remember, protecting our forests means sustaining our lives.
Good day, I'm Tamara McHale, and this is your GIS News for Friday, September 16. The National Water Commission will be implementing a one-year energy efficiency and renewable energy project. The Commission signed a $1 million grant agreement this week with the United States Trade and Development Agency to help fund the project. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Dr. Horace Chang, says the project will assist in reducing the approximately $5 billion that the NWC spends on electricity each year.
If we can reduce that, it means that we'll have more capital for investment. We can expand the services and do so in a very timely manner and ensure that our people have potable water at an affordable cost, and we can treat the wastewater in the way we should.
The work will begin with energy audits of NWC facilities which consume the most energy. Following the audit, renewable energy initiatives are to start at key facilities, and then a program of replacing inefficient electromechanical equipment is to be rolled out at selected facilities. Under the agreement, the NWC has selected experts from US-based companies as resource mobilization advisors to conduct the energy efficiency audits, renewable energy feasibility studies, and site screening. They will also evaluate financing and legal structures for potential projects. The one-year project is slated to begin by next month. The Economic Program Oversight Committee says Cabinet's goal of approving an implementation plan for the public sector reform process this month will help the country's transition from its current agreement with the International Monetary Fund. The plan is among the structural benchmarks that are to be achieved this month under the IMF program.
When the IMF staff are here, I believe probably early November or late October, that's one of the things that they will be measuring. Of course, in any IMF successor program, that is a program following on this one, this issue of public sector transformation is going to loom very large as one of the major benchmarks that need to be achieved.
EPOC's co-chair was addressing the committee's latest press briefing on Tuesday of this week. He said the first stage of the reform plan and implementation should include detailed timelines for the introduction of shared corporate services for communication and human resource management. Jamaica's four-year extended fund facility relationship with the IMF will come to an end in April 2017. Minister with responsibility for agriculture and fisheries, J.C. Hutchinson, says he will be advocating for the removal of general consumption tax GCT on imported farm supplies. He says these items, which contribute to the development of the local agricultural industry and help to increase farmers' production, should not attract GCT. Minister Hutchinson was addressing a two-day Climate Smart Agriculture Symposium in New Kingston this week. He reiterated the need for more idle lands to be irrigated for agricultural production and cited South Manchester as one such area where approximately 5,000 acres of land remain non-irrigated. 7 judges have been sworn into higher office. During a ceremony at King's House this week, Justice Paulette A. Williams was appointed as Judge of Appeal, while Justice Carol C. Edwards was appointed to act as Judge of Appeal. Justices Carolyn Tai, Stephanie Hazley, and Sonia Winter-Blair will act as puisne judges, and Pamela Margot Mason will act as Master in Chambers. Judith A. Pusey was also appointed Chief Judge of the Parish Courts. Governor General Sir Patrick Allen congratulated the judges and urged them to continue to serve the country with excellence.
We expect that you endeavor to speak for those who cannot speak, especially our nation's children who are being sometimes abused and victimized. In this way, you will further command the respect and the trust of Jamaicans.
And finally, the Education Ministry has endorsed a new private sector initiative designed to help mainstream music in the education system. Scores of students from inner-city communities in the corporate area will be benefiting from the Marley Music Room, which has been established in the Parade Garden STEM Center in Water Lane, downtown Kingston.
This being a STEM center, and we're now scaling up to the STEAM, this is an opportunity for us that how we can mainstream music in our education system, to validate it as part of our culture, that every school in Jamaica, and starting from early childhood, need to validate this and have this certainly as part of our strategy to stimulate our children.
Furnished at a cost of approximately $1.5 million, it's the brainchild of Cedella Miley, daughter of the late Bob Marley, and is funded by both the Bob Marley Foundation and the Grace and Staff Community Development Foundation. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Tamara McHale. Thank you for watching.
Jamaica was the first nation in the Caribbean region to prepare its country program for the phasing out of ozone-depleting substances. Since 2006, Jamaica has achieved phasing out of chlorofluorocarbons, known as CFCs. The work to balance the environment with human actions continues earnestly. For instance, the government, with assistance from the United States Agency for International Development, is helping farmers to combat adverse weather and climate conditions. Take a look.
Climate change, defined as extended changes in weather patterns, continues to be a top priority for government.
The belief that climate change and environmental issues only affect some of us and is a problem for the distant future is a misconception. Climate change affects us all. When drought ravages our crops and there are outbreaks of bushfires, we all pay higher prices at the market.
And through the Office of the Prime Minister, stakeholders continue to boost Jamaica's response to climate change. One focus area, climate change and the agricultural sector. The agricultural sector is significant to Jamaica's economy, contributing over 6.5% to the country's gross domestic product. It also creates employment, feeds the nation, saves foreign exchange through the importation of less food items, and provides raw material to those in the agro-processing sector. Through the Jamaica Rural Economy and Ecosystems Adapting to Climate Change JAREACH 2 project, initiatives continue to help farmers mitigate against climate change so that the agricultural sector is not severely affected. The project is funded by the United States Agency for International Development and implemented by the Government of Jamaica.
USA, through the JAREACH 2 project, will continue efforts to enhance Jamaica's adaptive capacity to climate change through the provision of increased access to information that aids decision-making.
And so JAREACH 2 is helping to strengthen the capacity of the Meteorological Service of Jamaica so they can provide extensive climate data to farmers through the Climate Smart Agricultural tool. Why? Some farmers in Jamaica depend on rainfall, and with a change in rainfall patterns, there has to be a change in farming practices.
Our Climate Smart tools will allow us to have longer lead time, like 3 to 6 months if we're looking at drought forecast, And it also allows us to look at forecasts at a community level, something that we never used to do before. And now we're doing this first in Jamaica and first in the region.
With that information, farmers can determine what to do, when to do it, where to do it, and in the case of crops, what types are more suitable for planting during a specific period.
We have a database now with over 600 farmers in there that will send them free text messages whenever there is a pending drought, whenever there is a flood.
So what has been the impact? A survey showed that farmers who received and used the information were better able to respond to recent drought conditions. For those who were not exposed to the information, their production was negatively impacted by about 72%.
Compared to a farmer who attended the Farmers Forum, was exposed to the drought tool, the impact on his production was just about 39%. So right away you see where the tool is actually working.
To strengthen the system, the Met Office is moving to collect more information to pass on to farmers.
So we intend to increase the number of weather stations, and this will increase the forecast that we have going out on a monthly basis.
A memorandum of understanding was signed in March 2016 to install 36 additional automated weather stations across the island. The $18 million project will benefit over 500 farmers under the JAREACH program. The stations will be managed by the Met Office, the National Irrigation Commission, and the Rural Agricultural Development Authority. So government, through a partnership with various stakeholders, is working to minimize the impact of climate change on the agricultural sector, collecting the information, passing it on to farmers, developing policies, and working to implement best practices that will benefit society.
There is no doubt that the future strategies to deal with climate change will depend upon sound knowledge of past and present climate in our nation and in our region. Together, we must all recommit to adapting to and mitigating the impacts of climate change.
For more information on Jamaica's climate, visit agrilinksja.com and jamaicaclimate.net.
I remember when I didn't like school and Mommy used to have to wake me up. Tabla, hurry up. You're going to be late for school.
Hey, now that I have a tablet, you don't need to wake me up. Since Mommy and Daddy bought me a tablet, I use my tablet for all kinds of cool stuff. I use my tablet to read books. I use my tablet to learn about history and science. I use my tablet to help with my homework. I even use it to talk to my daddy at work. Hello, Daddy!
Learning is easy and fun with a tablet. Take care of your tablet, use it wisely.
To win the fight against global warming, the youth must also be engaged. Through the work of several agencies, there was a recent youth convo on climate change. Let's see what they learned.
See the signs, they all reveal that global climate change is real. It's not a matter of when or how. Climate change is happening now.
It's the second staging of the Youth Climate Change Conference, and we are getting in on the action.
Have I been sleeping?
About 1,000 students from high schools across the island, all discussing the global issue of climate change at Jamaica's Youth Conference of Parties. School Zone was happy to engage in convos with our students to hear their views on the matter.
As it relates to climate change, there are many different factors that we must take into consideration, but probably first and foremost is actually information. As you know, that knowledge is power. So if we can inform this generation of what climate change is and the role it plays in our future, then I believe that that is the first step in reducing the heat that we're experiencing right now. On top of that, with the new generation upcoming, they're very involved in technology, and if they can use that technology to advance what the situation with climate change is right now, then we will be better off in 10 to 20 years' time, given that this generation is really advanced in technology.
Well, spread the news and recycle more, stop use less aerosol products for women especially, and also, just stop dumping plastic bottles and those stuff in the rivers.
So I'm here with my friends Petrina and Danielle from the Irwin High School in Montego Bay, and they'll be sharing with me their views on climate change. Let me start with Petrina. Petrina, what do you think you can do to tackle the issue of climate change?
Educate. Education is always better.
And why do you think it's so important to get the young people on board?
They say the youth are the future of tomorrow. So starting from the youth is better than ever.
The conversation also included our youth with disabilities who had much to say on the matter.
It is important that government continue the conversation surround climate change with persons with disabilities, and that can be done by having more workshops to include them.
And through the language of signing, the deaf community shared their views.
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love, and this place is much brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try, you'll find there's no need.
Those are some of the impacts of climate change which, unfortunately, have already started. Our students believe, however, that if we change our ways, we can slow down some of these effects. Their views are supported by government and other stakeholders.
One of the solutions I think we should really push is that the point where they said that public sectors and private sectors should be involved, that really shows that the whole country is, coming together, public and private, to really solve this issue, even though it can't really be solved, but to slow it down and to get things on the right track.
Individually, there's a whole lot of power that you have. And that power begins with understanding the need to do certain things to improve our common situation, whether it be shutting off the light, recycling, or buying products and working and supporting companies that support the environment.
I hope that things are put in place after we have done all this talking.
They certainly will, Javon, as the outcome of the views of all these youth will be incorporated into the current climate change framework document for schools in Jamaica. Suggestions included:
we should include a paragraph on the use of wind turbines where appropriate, because not all schools would be in a local where those particular technologies can be used. All future building plans are to include and incorporate energy efficiency in their core goals.
It was a fruitful convo for all the students, and in the end, outstanding schools and students were awarded. Overall champion was the Westwood High School from Trelawney. Kudos to you guys.
So to Jamaicans out there, students, parents, everyone, just help to make a change. Teamwork makes the dream work, so each of us have to do our part in order to make everything work out in the end.
All right, what do you plan to do?
I'll ensure anything electric is off before I leave any empty room.
That's a wrap for today's School Zone. Till next time, I'm Tamara.
The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information is committed to ensuring that every Jamaican child has the best learning environment to thrive and needs your cooperation to make the education system work successfully.
What are the school's voluntary contributions for?
Co-curricular and sports activities and school development.
What amount are parents to contribute?
Your contributions are voluntary and the amount depends on the type of programs being offered by the school.
If my child is being denied access to school, can I complain to the ministry?
Yes. You can call or visit any of the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information's 6 regional offices or send an email to complaints@moey.gov.jm.
What support is there for PATH students?
PATH students are not expected to make contributions and are to be provided with 5 days free lunch as of this year.
Parents and guardians, do continue to make your voluntary financial contributions to your children's school. The institutions need your assistance for their school development and sporting activities. Remember, every child can learn. every child must learn.
The harsh truth is that an increase in floods and storms has been linked to human actions. If we continue to improperly dispose of our garbage, not only will rodents and insects invade our homes, but there will be a depletion of the wonderful things in our land, such as water. Let's get it right. Listen now to the National Environment and Planning Agency.
We want persons to really change the way they think about garbage, change the way they dispose of their garbage, and to assume that personal responsibility when it comes to disposal of garbage.
Everybody should have an understanding what garbage does to your coast, and it's never really pretty. And it's amazing how you'll be cleaning up a beach and somebody's coming on the beach to bathe, and it doesn't hit them that you're walking past a juice bottle, or you're walking past a used syringe, or you're walking past broken glass, or even a rusty part of a car. For some people, it simply doesn't faze them that garbage is on the beach that they're bathing and swimming in, and that they could be swimming in that garbage.
One of the major things is, for instance, when persons go to the supermarket or any other establishment to make a purchase and they're offered plastic bags for their goods. What we're trying to do is to encourage persons not to use these plastic bags. If they're offered to you, refuse them and to use alternatives. The thing is, if each of us as individuals use one plastic bag per day, that's about 360 if you're going out every day, or let's say 200 for the year. With a population of a little under 3 million, you're talking about hundreds of millions of plastic bags that can possibly be generated in a year, and that could be avoided if we decide to use reusable bags. So that's one of the major things that we're pushing. So our trash-free initiative is really aimed at getting persons to be cognizant of the fact that when you use a single-use plastic bag or a single-use plastic bottle, you can possibly be contributing to this great problem of waste that we have here in Jamaica. So we're trying to get persons to avoid doing these things. So in addition to that, we also have a trash-free seas initiative, which we recently launched in collaboration with the United Nations Environment Program. Now, under this initiative, we are seeking to work with different entities such as the US Peace Corps to get different community groups to adopt more responsible waste management practices. So each of the Peace Corps volunteers, with support from NEPA and UNEP, will be engaging the communities, helping them to design projects that will help them to manage their waste better, and hopefully we'll be able to see results within a short period of time. So for our plastic-free initiative, the theme we're working with is we're telling persons, don't feed the plastic monster. To this end, we even have a mascot that is built totally out of plastic bags that we were able to salvage from, various receptacles and so on. All of these are used plastic bags, and with the used plastic bags, we're actually able to build a 7-foot-tall monster completely out of plastic bags. So we're trying to get persons to put a face to this growing problem, to have them understand the damage that these bags can actually cause. And the thing is, a lot of these bags, you use them once and you may never use them again, but they take hundreds of years to actually break down. So if you can avoid doing it, then definitely you should. When it comes to the single-use plastic bag initiative, there are several supermarkets and also pharmacies that have signed on and are part of the initiative. So we are getting the word out there to the private sector. Many persons within the private sector are very interested in the initiative and do want to make that change.
It does become your problem because it does pollute. Kingston Harbour, for an instance, sometimes the Port Authority has to stop vessels coming in because of the level of garbage that's coming in. Trucks, fridge, or stove are coming down. Anything in the gully goes into the harbour. And if that damages a vessel, then that's a cost to Jamaica. And I think that's what everybody needs to recognize. Every action has a reaction. So your garbage is a cost to somebody else. It's not a cost to you, but it's a cost to somebody else.
Hey, big man. What you do? You see that now, right?
Wanna write about that?
Dropping a bottle on the ground.
So how that concern you, boss?
Because this is my country too. And when you litter, it affects the environment that affect me and you too.
Keep your garbage to yourself. Don't share it with us. We don't want it. Put it in the bin so that others don't have to. Nobody wants garbage lying around, polluting the environment and taking away from Jamaica's natural beauty. We have a responsibility to keep the environment clean for this and the future generations. Cleanliness is next to godliness.
As we observe International Ozone Layer Day, let's take some time to reflect on the importance of the ozone layer and its role in supporting life on planet Earth. And bear in mind that tomorrow will be marked as International Coastal Cleanup Day. This activity, which takes place on the third Saturday of September every year, is extremely important if we want Jamaica to remain the place of nice white sandy beaches for locals and tourists. We are encouraging you to take part in tomorrow's activities. It is the largest one-day volunteer event in the world. With a click on the Jamaica Environment Trust website, you will find the Cleanup Day activity closest to you. So get involved. Even if you cannot make it to one of the parish projects, visit a nearby beach this weekend and remove some garbage from the shoreline. Remember, we aim to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. We've come to the end of Jamaica Magazine for this Friday. Thanks for spending time with us. Remember to keep up to date with the latest government info. Join us online at jis.gov.jm or watch our programs on our YouTube channel. And be sure to check out our other social media platforms. You may also catch a new edition of Jamaica Magazine tomorrow on this very station. Until then, I'm Theodore Henry. Have yourselves a great evening.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.